Newtown, Connecticut, Aurora, Colorado, Columbine, Red Lake.
Where everyone deserves the right to live, take the action necessary to protect ourselves. If people think that our call for universal background checks is somehow only about limiting people's rights to guns, they don't recognize the fact that there was a garage sale in Cass County, long ways from here, that collected guns from other garage sales, that sold them and found their ways onto the streets of North Minneapolis. If people don't think we need universal background checks, they don't know the story that's unfortunately a real story about a woman in St. Cloud who had a restraining order against the person who she was in a relationship with. She got a gun on the internet where there was no background check. She stalked that man in a Brooklyn Center and he died. I could go on, sadly, with story after story that illustrate the fact that universal background checks should not be a political issue. It's a life and death issue, and it's an issue on which we need to stand. Today we are at an event where there are news cameras, and that's a wonderful thing. We've been at events with news cameras before, but we've committed ourselves to the fact that we will remember those names beyond the news cycle of the incident that tragically took their life. I've stood at those cases way too often with B.J. Smith, who stands before us and who's been there every time with Mad Dads. With Don Samuels, our city council member, who has a vigil every time somebody falls in this community. And with a police chief who took off his uniform and retired and dedicated himself to gun violence reduction, and that's Chief Tim Dolan. We have seen too much. We've taken incredible actions, including our Youth Violence Prevention Initiative that's done so much to reduce violence. We will keep taking action on poverty, on racism, on geography, on all those other issues behind crime. All we ask is a common sense change that says that if we recognize that 60% of the people who are buying a gun need a background check, that we should have 100%. The difference on that is the difference between life and death.
Newtown, Connecticut, Aurora, Colorado, Columbine, Red Lake.
I'd like to thank the community for coming together in our time of loss. You can never, ever replace a child. This is a time of profound loss that we dig deep down into ourselves. So what can we do as a community to prevent the next loss? But we come together today to stand with this family, to bring this community together today. We love you. We love your family. There is no reason a parent should bury his child. There's punishment enough. But we need to come together and work together as a community to make sure this doesn't happen again. And we need to talk to our council member, talk to your community leaders. Make sure your gun is bolted up at night. As a son of a former police chief, I don't have a gun. I'm afraid of them. But I understand that people need to protect themselves. But let us send a message that in these tough economic times, as we protect our family, that we make sure that the weapon is carefully put away.
Newtown, Connecticut, Aurora, Colorado, Columbine, Red Lake.